Christie, thank you for joining. It's a pleasure to have you on. For the audience, Christie and I have gotten to know each other, I don't know, past couple of months, I guess, mainly by way of social media. We communicated, follow your page, obviously on Instagram. You follow us and kind of connected that way, learned about each other's businesses that way, and have since helped each other a little bit, which is exciting, obviously, for our businesses, but for the audience. We like to bring on folks like you, Christie, often to talk about just how you got to where you're at, how you started your company, challenges, obviously, you see in growing it and the day to day and all that good stuff. So without me saying too much more, I'll turn it over to you, Christie, just for a quick intro, if you don't mind.
Thank you so much for having me. It's nice to finally meet you, I guess.
Yeah.
So I started the business about 2 years ago. Prior to that, I was in the legal service industry. Um, we did, gosh, I started as like a office service clerk and I ended with being a department supervisor, pretty much positions that really focused on client success, um, setting the legal teams up for success by having things organized. And I got laid off during COVID. I feel like so many businesses have started that way.
Yeah.
Um, Layoffs and COVID and
Yep.
pandemic stuff. Um, and I just couldn't find anything that really like aligned with what I wanted to do, whether, the company didn't really match like my values, things like that. And then it just kind of hit me one day like, oh my gosh, I can create my own career doing everything that I love. And it was just like a light bulb moment, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and I kind of hit the ground running that night. I told my husband about it, and he's like, yes, do this immediately. I'm all for it. So that was great. And then it was just, I dove right in and I pretty much structured the business around helping clients
Yeah.
and, the improvement of their lives. And it's just kind of, taken off ever since. But it's been a wild ride, though, for
Yeah.
sure.
I bet it has. And the name of the company is Concierge South. For
Yes.
those of you listening, and so many different places we can go here, Christy, because it's
Right.
a lot of folks we talk to have had a business for a while, or if they hadn't, the story is like, hey, we were at a corporate job and then we started this on the side and we grew it a little
Mhm.
bit and finally transitioned over into it full time. You were kind of like I don't want to call it desperation, but out of a necessity, like I'm either
Yeah.
going to go back to the corporate world and find be an employee for somebody or start this. Um, I guess first question would just be like, what was the blueprint to the business? Like you decided this is what I've got a knack for organization, and don't let me, misconstrue the business overall, but
Mhm.
a knack for organization. I like helping people. I'm assuming. How did you start to like put together, obviously clientele sales, that's, a
Mhm.
topic in and of itself, but like, how did you decide like what
Yeah.
you're going to go do, right? You're going to help folks get things in their homes organized, but like, what's the offering, what does the market receive Christie and her company as in terms of what you offer specifically?
So I guess when I started thinking about like the services that I was going to offer, um, I kind of already had an idea as to what people needed, just from, my friends or, local
Yeah.
Facebook groups, things like that. And, whenever I would see a post that was like, I need help with X, Y, and Z, my initial thought was like, oh, that would be fun. But it
Yeah.
never really clicked. Like, so I kind of started thinking, I did like some surveys, asking family and friends, like, what would give them their time back? What would help their sanity?
Yeah.
What would take that stress off of just your daily lives that you don't
Mhm.
necessarily think you can outsource, but you actually can?
Yeah.
Um, and then I just kind of picked my favorites out of that because my list was like chauffeur service from like my house to the airport for clients, and I'm like, that's actually not what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Um, and um, I just, when I started the business, it just kind of took off. I mean, honestly, like the local mom Facebook groups is pretty much,
I bet.
what I mean, like one person refers you, and then it's like
Yeah.
this amazing domino effect. So I would say the first 4 to 5 months, probably even longer than that, the majority of business was just referrals.
Yeah.
Um, and it was such a, I don't want to say a new concept, but to to an extent, yes, just because of the range of services. People didn't know like you can hire somebody to do this, and it's like an actual business with processes,
Yeah.
things like that. So yeah, I mean, it was, you know, everybody loved it at first,
Yeah.
so that was
I'm,
great.
gl-
Yeah.
I'm glad you said it because I was thinking of it. I'm like, God, I hope I'm not the only one, right? As a homeowner, maybe in particular as the husband in a relationship, but I'm sitting here thinking
Yeah,
like, because I'm always thinking through the lens of, what is my time worth at a dollar level? And if I can get
exactly.
somebody else to do it for cheaper than what that would be worth, me spending time on, it makes all the sense in the world to outsource it. But naturally, I don't think of like organization, things in the home that
Hmm.
maybe you guys do automobiles and stuff as well, but like just organization in general. I haven't naturally thought, let me enlist the help of another person to come into my home and help me do that. But it makes all the sense in the
Hmm.
world, um, which is great to know, obviously,
Yeah.
and hear. So when you like, let's say you get a new referral, a new lead, what's the first step in the process for you with that customer? I mean, obviously they're probably reaching out, asking about pricing and how you work and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But once you get past kind of that general conversation, like what's like, you guys are good to start the job. What's your process like? What do you do first?
So it really kind of depends on what service they're, because we do like the home management where it's like each home management client is assigned a lifestyle manager that is assigned to them, kind of like their personal assistant that handles like home tasks and things like that.
Got it.
But then organizing clients, sometimes we do like a FaceTime consultation to where they kind of show me their space. Some people just need help decluttering. Other people need full on garage revamp sessions where, we go out, we measure. One thing that we do, regardless of like what service, is we always talk about what the client goals are. So it's a very detailed conversation where we document everything that they're saying so we don't have to go back and, ask them, and we can just kind of be super efficient with that. Um, and then, I mean, we show up with the team, we get to work, and, that process just looks kind of different for everyone.
Yeah.
It's kind of focused on that client's specific needs,
Got
but
it.
they're all different.
Yeah. What are the? I'm always curious to ask folks this. What are because it's nice to talk about all the positives and stuff of owning a business, working at a
Right.
business and all that stuff. What are the headaches of your business? Like, what do you? Maybe a common theme. I'm sure stuff pops up all the time, but like, what's a
Yeah.
what's a common headache you run into?
I have pretty aggressive business growth goals. I have a map of where I want the business to go. And I'm also very, very particular on who we hire
Mhm.
and finding like those amazing people that align with our values, that are great with clients, that have, the skill set and determination is probably the most challenging.
Yeah.
And so that's why, like, whenever we hire someone, I'm like, what can I do to set you up for success? Because like you are amazing and I value you. So I
Yeah.
would say just it's just slow process, I guess.
Right.
The hiring process is slower than, you know,
Yeah.
than what I would like. But I feel like every business owner probably feels that way. Like finding the right people.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously, hiring is a common theme among business owners of like, yeah, this is always a challenge, but I feel like you're in a different, almost in a different place because I feel like your business has a level of creative touch to it. Whereas
Hmm.
my business and junk removal, as an example, it's pretty cut and dry. Like if you
Yeah.
can, we've got certain criteria, like you need to be able to lift heavy things and you
Yeah.
need to have a valid driver's license and be willing to
Right.
be customer service. But like, and they have a process to follow. Like, here's what we do. We reach out to a client. When you get there, you talk about pricing. If you then go
Yeah.
ahead and throw it in the truck and we're off and running. For you though, you have a lot of those same processes, but also whoever you hire and goes to do the work, they could mess something up along that, before you get to the end goal with the
Hmm.
customer. And you may come in with your eye and be like, I don't like where that box is, or we shouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like you have a different
Yeah.
kind of challenge there when it comes to hiring people, which is interesting. I don't know how you solve for
Yeah.
that, quite frankly, but
Yeah. I think it just kind of, I try to be as thorough as possible with our onboarding process. It's, we do a 30, 60, 90-day plan. We have, video instructions on how to do things and links of, helpful items to have in your vehicle,
yeah,
things like that. So sometimes it's also hard to like let them go and do their own thing and to kind of see like how their brain works. Because if it's the same result
yeah,
of, it being functional for the space, then, and I always like encourage my team, like, please tell me if you have an idea. I want to hear it. This
yeah.
is not like my way or the highway type thing. So it's definitely been interesting to see like how our team handles the same situation, but differently. And I mean, I'm like, thank God I have a team because, I don't think of all of the options for certain things. So it's good to have them on board.
In the vein of process, what are your favorite tools that you guys use at your company, like technology wise? Do you have like design tools, customer relationship management, database and all that stuff?
So funny you mentioned that. So we're actually in the process of, implementing a CRM just to more automate things.
Yeah.
Um, I'm I don't know. I guess when I first started out, I kind of seemed like kind of old school. So I'm like, I don't need reminders. Like, and now I'm like, no, I actually do. These
Yeah.
are important things that like our clients need. Um, and, really just kind of freeing my time up by
Yeah.
having things automated.
Totally.
We use Asana for task management,
Hmm.
which I love. And it helps to handle like client projects with kind of where things are,
Yeah.
task lists, project goals as a whole and things like that.
Yeah. Got it. Talk to me a little bit about scaling and where you touched on it a minute ago about
Hmm.
your growth goals. Where are you trying to get to? Trying to expand further out in Charlotte, get to other cities overall in North Carolina, national? What's the goal of the company overall?
Yes, yes to all. um,
World
the simple
nation.
answer is yes. Yeah. I think that what we offer is so special and so needed. So, first, we have to scale. I would love to have a lifestyle manager in each part of not only Charlotte, but like Lake Wiley, Lake Norman, Davidson, Union County. So then they can have home management clients
Hmm.
that's close to where they live. Because, I mean, a quick commute is always preferred.
Right.
And, after that, like I would love to expand to the Raleigh area, Charleston, Savannah,
Hmm.
Fort Lauderdale. I mean, just kind of see where it takes us.
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
the clientele look like in terms of like the average you see? Because I would go into this assuming, and I feel like I'm probably part of the minority here, in that the wealthier individuals are the ones that
Hmm.
would maybe use this service. But I don't know if that's the case because I was talking with um, the CEO at 2U Laundry recently, and
Yeah.
he kind of gave me his demographic, and it was not what you would think, right? It's a step above like the poverty level, right? If we're being candid,
Yeah.
but it's not. Um, it was all. I think it was like something like households were it's 60 grand in household income up to like 150 is like kind of their sweet spot. Then
Hmm.
you have folks beyond that. And there are reasons for that, but like, what do you see in your business in terms, and you don't have to give like dollar or household income,
Yeah.
but like, what type of customer do you guys attract mostly?
So I mean, it's a luxury service, so it's not like everybody, has the funds to do this. But at
Right.
the same time, we've had clients that have like altered their monthly spending to have us help out.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, I mean, yes, it is basically wealthier clients, but there's also people who will budget around our services or ask for it for Christmas. Or so I mean, there's really just such a giant range. Um, but I would say 200,000 up to a couple million. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, it's one end of the spectrum and another.
Totally. I totally get it. And that makes sense. I guess from like outside of the referrals, I'm curious as you scale, right? Referral, it's kind of like I'm not going to compare industries, but I'm going to say a common theme with referral businesses in the real estate space, and a lot of business comes by way of referrals in real estate. And I hope the same for you continues to be the trend. But like as you grow
Mhm.
and move to other cities, what's the sales process for you in terms of what other avenues you're going to pursue to get your name out in the marketplace and generate leads outside of referrals? Like anything come to mind?
Yeah. Um, I love that you asked that because so I have a business coach and that's what we're working on now. It's like a marketing campaign and a strategy first for like,
Yeah.
locally, because again, you can't just rely on these wonderful mom groups for, scaling my business where I want it to go. And um, so yeah, I have no idea. We have a few things that we're going to try, really trying to focus on Google lead generation.
Yeah.
Um, I've done like some Instagram sponsored ads, which actually y'all helped me with one of those clients this week
Awesome.
that found us from Instagram. So
Yeah.
trying just a few different things at first, seeing what works. Um, but so far it's Instagram
Hmm.
and local Facebook groups,
Yeah. I was going to
which
say,
is amazing because I mean, it's as
yeah.
far as like advertising budget, I've really gotten lucky so far.
Yeah. If you have to move, I mean, we're heavy in the Google ad space. I mean, that's kind of where most of our residential business comes from.
Hmm.
If we want to go and get corporate partnerships, I'm talking about here at Junk Reader, like we want to start doing work for Costco or Walmart or any of those types of companies,
Hmm.
that's more outbound. Really need to have like an outbound sales rep dedicated to doing that. But I
Right.
was going to say within your industry and line of business, I have to imagine that a lot of your success will come from online branding and marketing,
Yep.
specifically because I don't know if this is just kind of like a thing of today or if everybody's always loved cleaning things and just seeing things go from
Yeah.
bad to good. But like all the trends on TikTok and Instagram of like, look what it used to look like, and now what it looks like today. I mean, I can go down a rabbit hole myself on any social media
Right.
platform looking at these videos. Like if you guys
Yeah.
can hunker down on that, I would imagine and implement that into your business with video and other sorts of posts and really become like a main player in the social media
Hmm.
space, whether you're using influencers or it's just organic. I feel like a lot of business would come by way of that because, again, not many folks are actively out. And I could be completely wrong, but I know I wasn't actively out looking for, folks that could help me with organizing my things.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas if they were, they'd be going to Google and searching for that type of service. But if you guys are kind of the driver of that in the social space, it will become a much more popular search trend on Google if folks now start to
Hmm.
see Concierge South as, an interesting thing
Yeah.
there in the marketplace. I don't know if you thought of that or not.
Yeah. It's actually on my list. I should show you my list sometime. It's
Yeah.
it's pretty long.
I'm just plucking off of it. Well,
Yeah, I love it.
before we get wrapped up, Christy, we talk about. I know I've kind of asked you some headaches already, but like looking back into your world as an employee and now as a business owner, is there anything that you like miss about that world that you could touch on here versus now what you're currently doing, which is running your own business?
No, absolutely not. There is not one thing that I miss at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
I mean, not even, there's nothing. And I've thought about that before. I'm like, gosh, like my life is just so different now that I'm the business owner and that
Yeah.
I have employees and that I'm doing all these things and I don't miss anything about
Yeah.
it.
It's amazing.
Nothing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's no right or wrong. I mean, my business partner Ted and I, when we do these with other folks, we tend to ask that question a lot.
Hmm.
And I've come to a realization myself because I was an employee for a long time, and now I'm a co-business owner, and it's really great. But it's because of like how I'm wired, and it's not
Yeah.
because I think like two podcasts ago, I told the gentleman I was like, I feel like there's a trend in the marketplace where at least on social media, like if you're not doing something on the side, if you're not running a business, if you're not doing something entrepreneurial, then like you're a loser. And I may be taking
Yeah.
it to an extreme, but like I feel like most folks are seeing these videos all over the place, like own your time, get out of the rat race, get into business ownership, blah blah blah. But candidly, that it's not for everybody. Like everybody shouldn't
Yeah.
be a business owner. That's why we have owners and employees and a whole org
Yeah.
structure typically within organizations. So I like to tell folks like do an inventory and figure out who you are and what you like. And if it is
Exactly.
the employee life, that's totally fine. Employee is not a negative word. A lot of people like the safety of knowing they have a job and the major
Hmm.
decisions of the company rest on somebody else. And they're there to get it. They get paid. They get a wage to do a specific skill, and that's cool. I like to mention it sometimes because I feel like there's a lot of that negativity online. That's like if you're not
Yeah.
entrepreneurial, then you're just not part of the cool crowd, which I just don't like. So um,
Yeah. I mean, all that to say, like, there's still struggles.
oh
You're pretty much just changing, like, pick your hard, right? Like, it's hard working for someone else. It's hard working for yourself. You just have to pick your hard,
totally.
and I would choose this one any day, even though that comes with its own struggles, just like, in the corporate world. But now, like, I know what I'm working towards. Like, everything's aligning with what makes me feel fulfilled. And I think that's really what, people should focus on. Like, if you really like working in an office, like, then
Yeah.
that's amazing. You found your thing.
Pick your heart. I love that. Amazing way to put it.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up here, Christy, with this. Ted always likes to ask if you knowing yourself now and going back years later, whether that was you coming out of school, high school, college, whatever, what would you tell Christy from years ago, knowing what you know now and doing what you do?
Mm. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Um, I would for sure tell myself not to be so hard on myself.
Okay.
I think that's probably what, not that I would listen, knowing me from a few years ago, but I would, yeah, cut yourself some slack, give yourself grace.
That's a big one. That's one that I've definitely struggled
Hmm.
with for many years. Well, Christy,
Yeah.
it's always great to connect with you. Obviously, this was the first
Yeah.
time really that we've actually seen each other face to face, but we love working with you and wish you obviously all the best in your business growth. And if there's obviously anything we can do to help aid in that, let us know. But for the folks listening, if they want to get in touch with you, learn more about your services, where can they find you?
Instagram at Concierge South NC or Concierge South, on Google or Facebook.
Perfect. We will make sure to link those and get you in touch with all those folks eager to use your services. So again, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so
Have
much.
a good day.
Thanks. You too.
If you'd like to learn more about Christy and what she's doing, check out her website at conciergesouth.com. That's conciergesouth.com. Once there, be sure and check out the services they provide, and you can get in touch by clicking the Contact Us page and filling out the form. See you next time.